So around the middle of last year, I posted a video reviewing centaurs since it seemed to be the place to grind at the time, and that video did fairly well. So I wanted to follow up and make another video similar to it, but focusing on a different grind spot that I've wanted to cover since I've recently spent some time here. And that spot that we'll be talking about today is going to be Mirumok Ruins. And for anyone that has been watching my videos for some time, you'll know that I'm currently striving to achieve the 301 AP bracket, and I'm currently trying to enhance a PEN Valtarra Belt to complete the series. So towards the beginning of my PEN Valtarra journey, I was just enhancing base belts and hoping for the best, and sometimes the central market wouldn't have any readily available, so if I had a lot of leftover aggres, I would come do a couple of hours here. And then before we get into the video, this isn't going to be a video where I'm breaking down the best drafts or the best perfumes or like the best grind location and how to optimally do this place. This is just me talking about my experience here and what I think of it and my personal opinions. I do know that the rotation that I will be showing in the background of this video is what I consider the main rotation, and I know that there are a couple other rotations, being the upper cliff rotation or the castle-ish side rotation where there's like the little ruins. I know that those are optimal rotations in case the main one is taken if you cannot find the main open on a certain channel. But yeah, so I basically would just come here due to the fact that I was grinding a lot of Kratuga in the past, and that's where I would basically just be making my money, and then with that money I would buy Valtarra belts, and then I would try to enhance them and then go from there. But there would be times where whenever I would go buy Valtarra belts, there would be none on the market, so I was like, you know what, let me just try out Mirumok Ruins. Let me just see what it's like, because I knew me and my friends used to grind here a lot back in the day. We would grind here when we were like 240, 260 AP, you know, just trying to do some group activity, and maybe one of our friends wanted to get some XP to level up a character. This was like the place to come to, and I think a lot of the players that are very experienced in this game have also had that similar experience. And I do know at the 260 mid-ish AP, 270, this place is so easily manageable to grind at a solo pace. You do not need a group. You don't need extra buffs here. You like obviously use your food buffs and everything, but you don't need a group to grind here once you're at that 260, 270 AP. I know some classes some classes may even require a little less AP, just because that's just the nature of this game. Some classes can do fairly better at grind spots with fewer AP than others, and I know that the requirement or the recommendation is like 240 AP, 270 DP. I would say that this place is pretty safe after anything over 300 DP. I haven't really tested out the DP checks yet, but I do know at AP, if you have 260-ish mid AP, you are perfectly fine in coming here. If you have yet to try it out, obviously if you're a late game player and you're like 300 plus AP, you have no worry coming here, like you're fine. But whenever I do grind here with a full hour of aggres, I do consume about 60,000 aggres an hour, which does grant me about 30,000 trash loot, give or take a few, just depending on if I'm optimally grinding or if I'm fully paying attention. I might be watching a YouTube video or a stream in the background. I might pull a little less as compared to if I'm fully paying attention. But for me personally, at my current year being 301, 381, I do pull about 30,000 trash with full aggres. And this isn't a spot that I would necessarily come to and grind like 5 hours in a row, but it is a place that I like to come back to every few hours or so, maybe like once a week. I'll come just do an hour here just because why not. I think it's a really cool spot. I think it's very chill. I don't really get bothered much here. If anything, someone might roll up and be like, ooh, can I party for XP? And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. So I think that's the most attention that I get here. But if I were to grind an hour here without aggres, I do pull about 20,000 trash loot. I have not grinded here with the aggres coin, so I do not know how efficient it would be to use an aggres coin here. But I do think that it would be worth it, just because the trash loot here is like 18,200 or something like that. Yeah, 18,200. And whenever I get about 30,000 an hour, that does sell for about 550 mil in just liquid raw trash. So I feel like that's a fair amount, honestly. Doing an hour grind with aggres and pulling over half a bill just off of trash, I think that's worth it. And then if I were to not be using Agris, I get about 350 mil an hour. Again, give or take a few, but 350 mil an hour, I would say is comparable to my Orcs grind. Whenever I do Orcs, I pull about 20,000 an hour, which does grant me a little bit over 300 mil. And that is excluding the Valtarra Flames and excluding the seeds. So we're just talking about liquid trash. And this place does drop Valtarra belts, which I think are currently about 70 to 100-ish mil in the market. Sometimes they can dip into the 60s, but sometimes they can increase all the way up into the 90s. So it just depends on when you're selling them, but they are a decent accessory to get dropped. And also if you're trying to enhance your horse and upgrade it to the next tier, this place does drop Krogdalo stones and Destruction Spirit stones, which you can grind down and then repair your Velheart with. But yeah, I think overall this place is a very comfortable spot to grind. Again, I only come here about once a week whenever I have full Agris, just because currently right now I am grinding at Elvia spots, just trying to make some money and make some extra cups that I can maybe sell. So I'm not exactly using my Agris every single day, so whenever I do have a full bit of Agris, I do decide to come here, because 60,000 Agris goes by in a whole hour, and I make almost a bill, honestly, with drops and everything. Me personally, on average, I make about 1 belt drop an hour. Some hours I do get 2 to 3, and then some hours, and by some I mean like very, very rarely, I'll get 0 drops. But I would say 9 out of 10 times that I grind here, I get at least 1 belt an hour. And I do personally hold on to them just because I am currently trying to make a pen belt. So I usually will use those as the base to click for Tet or for pen. The Lemuria gear, you can just trash it or feed it to your fairy. Swaying wind shards, you can just keep those, I guess, if you want. Forest furies, a lot of people use those with crafting crystals and all that stuff. And then obviously the Kafirs. The Kafirs are going to be a really, really good source of money here. In terms of dust, I don't think that this place is really good when it comes to dropping dust. I do only get about like 50 dust an hour, which isn't a whole lot. And in terms of raw Kafir drops, I do manage about 30 to 50 an hour on average. I don't really necessarily have like a, oh, I've made 50 this many times or I've made 30 this many times. It's just looking at my averages, I make about 30 to 50, which again isn't a whole lot, but I mean, this place isn't meant to be a competitor for those end game grind spots that we all love, you know, like Gyfin or Hex or Quint. It's not supposed to be comparable to it. I think it's one of those places kind of like Centaurs where it's just a good place to use Agris, you know, like it's not a super dangerous spot that you're risking dying. It's not super high AP capped. It's just a very chill and manageable spot where if you want to come and give your XP to some friends, you can more than welcomely do that. And yeah, overall, I enjoy this place a lot. I think the Granda territory is a very pretty place to grind. I currently do have the node, not the node, was it? The territory advantage. So I have been allocating some more of my time towards the Grana and Calpheon territory just for this week, so I have the buffs. And yeah, honestly, it's a very enjoyable spot. Again, if we're looking at just liquid trash from, or liquid silver from trash, I do again get about half a bill an hour with Agris, and even without Agris, it's a decent spot, you know, and it's really good XP. And as you guys can see, I am almost at that 64 level, so I'm very, very close. I have just been grinding here and Orcs and Underground Gyfin. I've honestly really been enjoying Underground Gyfin, so I'm sure that in my next video you guys will see more content and more drops from that place. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this spot. I'm very curious as to hearing your guys' opinions, and if I messed up anywhere along the video, please correct me in the comments below. I want to make sure that I have everything correct. And yeah, do share your experiences. If you guys want to take a screenshot of your hour and post it in my Discord server, the link to that will be in the description below. And yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and if you did, consider subscribing. Helps out the channel a lot, and leave a like. It's the easiest way that you guys can show that you are enjoying the content that I've been putting out, and it helps out the channel greatly. But yeah, with all that out of the way, I will see you guys in the next video, and take care.